Hi, my name's Andy Lacey. I'm a marketing professor here at Leeds, and I'm also the faculty director for B Corps and BASE. And I am here today with Clark Jones, Senior Vice President at Disneyland. Welcome, Clark.
Andy, thank you. It's good to be here. Excited.
Yeah,
Opportunity
absolutely.
to talk to you, talk to the students. Doesn't get
Well,
any better than this.
Well, Clark, we are so excited. We created a new module in the base class starting this fall, and they're going to do 3 different projects associated with Disney. And so I want to talk through some of the things that you and your team and Disney would do if they were really doing these types of things.
Great, yeah.
That they're going to be doing in the projects. Let's talk about, and I want to frame that we have 3 assignments in base that we're going to be doing on Disney. And so the first one is having them forecast attendance at Disney World, but then also thinking in the Chicago area, where would be the right kind of zip codes or segments that we really want to forecast on, and we really want to try and draw attendance from. And so I'm really interested. How do you go about forecasting attendance? What kind of tools do you use? What kind of techniques do you use? And maybe a second part of that question, or maybe the first part, why is it so important?
Yeah, all right, well, let's start with that. It drives what attractions we would have open or closed if things are going down for refurbishment. It drives how many meals we think we're going to be creating.
Yeah.
It drives, what do we think our merchandise demand is going to be. So it is the basis of pretty much all the business decisions that we are trying to make. And so as accurate as it can be, it makes all those other choices and all those other decisions that we need to make as accurate as they need to be.
Yeah, and so speaking of getting accurate, you talk a little bit about using tools like regression, what kind of data elements go into those regressions, or any other types of tools to help to optimize what is my forecast.
Sure.
And maybe what are some of those elements? What are some of those specific elements that seem to be key drivers of attendance?
Yeah, attendance can be influenced by a number of different things. The most simple one that you would think about is weather. So weather is an impact, but I will tell you, weather's not a factor that we really use. So I'm going to just kind of take that one off the table because we're not
because you don't have control.
We're not meteorologists.
Yeah.
But what we do think about, or what we do focus on, is price plays a big role in it. School calendars play a significant role in what's happening. So vacation schedules. Seasonality is also big. Right now, we're in the middle of our Halloween and Christmas period, and that period is, over time, has become one of our most popular periods. It used to be summer, but now we're just seeing
really
a lot.
interesting.
And I think the country is seeing a lot of demand on Halloween and holidays, just in general, when you think about where people are spending their money. So those types of trends play a significant role in how we think about what our attendance is going to be. So you talk about regression. My team uses regression all the time. I've got I have a number of mathematicians on my team that are math majors, business analytic majors, who are way better at some of these tools than I would ever be. So we talk a lot about R squared, and we talk about Python. We talk about, there is the random forest model. There's a number of, and I wish I could articulate all of them to you, Andy, but there are models that when they mention them to me, I don't know exactly what they're saying, but here's what I do know, is they're really good at them. And they're brilliant at sharing the outcome and what it means to us.
Yeah.
So they take a lot of inputs and they figure out and vet through those analysis what's really driving the attendance. And it turns out, there's a handful of really significant items that we focus on that, pretty much we talked about, right? So it's seasonality, it is the pricing, it is vacation calendars, It is, what are the products that we have working? So right now we're celebrating our 70th anniversary. That's going to drive a different attendance than if we don't have a celebration at all. It's also when we have new product offerings. So when we launch a new attraction, that can also influence what your attendance is going to be and your mix of attendance. Because attendance, I think a lot of it, you think about it as, a person, all attendance is created equal. And the reality of it is there's different segments of attendance, and each one has its own, drives its own value. We have what we call our regular paid attendance, and those are our day guests that are coming on a 1-day ticket, a 2-day ticket, a 3-day ticket. But then we also have our Magic Key, and those are those annual pass holders.
Right.
And the Magic Key, they buy the product up front, and they have, depending on what key they have, they've got access to the park. Could be all year long, or it could be just Monday through Thursdays. So understanding the dynamics and the behaviors of each one of those groups also impacts attendance, because attendance, a team just did an analysis that showed, when you think about just the demand cycle, and you can draw a straight line and just say, well, if the price is this, then the demand is this, and if price is that, demand is that. But the reality of it is, it's different depending on the day of the week, the week of the month of the year, and frankly, the year in which you're celebrating or doing something different. So,
or even a segment.
Or even a segment. That's right. That's exactly right. So we're constantly balancing and optimizing, the segments that we've got, the days of the week versus the pricing that we have.
Two other elements, come to mind for me. I assume there's a direct correlation between marketing dollars spent, and that probably goes into it too. And so I asked that as a question, but also the economic circumstance, whether the economy's strong, not strong, are we in a recession, are we in a growth phase? I assume those are elements that are players too in this.
Yeah, marketing for sure. We are. Anybody who knows Disney, we're a heavy marketing company.
Yeah.
Our message is always, about driving awareness at the top of the funnel, and then working their way through conversion at the bottom. And so, what we have to talk about and how we're talking about it drives, and how much we're investing to do those things drives a big piece of what our attendance is. And you're right. Economics, and that's a good one. Just what the economic environment is can play a significant role in who's coming,
whether we feel like we have enough money to go this year or this month or that type of thing.
Because it is, Andy, it's also when you think about, I talked about the different segments, and then underneath each one of those segments, you have various segments, right? You have household incomes, you've got ethnicity, you've got where they live in the country, and so international. So international is a great one right now. The the international markets, I think, with all tourism right now, are a bit challenged. And so what is happening in the economic environment plays a significant role in who's coming and who's not.
You talked about segments. So. And our students are going to be thinking about how do we figure out what an optimal segment is. You have unique challenges as Disney in that you've got all kinds of segments.
Yeah.
How do you think about segmenting them out? How do you think about marketing to them differently? Because you've got families with children, you've got 30-somethings that grew up with Disney and go, you've got grandparents that want to take their grandchildren. How do you figure all that out?
Yeah, we have a very robust consumer insight organization. And I think anybody who's dealing with consumers and the diversity of the guests that we have, having an organization like that is absolutely key.
Yeah.
So they are out there understanding what the consumer landscape looks like. So not only who's coming and who are we talking to or who are we not talking to, but also they get insights of the guests who are here. And so as the guests have their vacation, we can learn a lot from them about if you're a young family, what's working and what's not? What are you interested in? Where were your hassles and where were your friction points? And where were your moments of excellence and moments of pure magic? And then we can take all of that, and then when you talk about how do you talk to them, we know that we need to share with our young families a different message than what we're sharing with our young adults with no kids. Mm-hmm. Each one of them has a different challenge from how they experience it, what they're trying to get out of it. And so our consumer insights team is taking all of that information and packaging it up in a way that the marketing organization, our commercial team, can then pinpoint, these are the key messages, these are the key hurdles for our young families. So here are the things that we need to talk about to those markets. Here are the key hurdles,
Yep.
Here's the
Yep.
key wants and desires of a couple that has no kids, and how do we talk to them? I think social media is playing an interesting role right now. We have a number of blogs. Blogs is a nice way to communicate out to our consumers, because we're also learning that in the world we live in today, a lot of consumers don't want to hear the corporate speak. They don't want to hear, they want to hear, what does the consumer, what does the average person believe about this product?
Yeah.
So we have some mom blogs. We've got millennial blogs. We've got some blogs that are done by third parties that we work with them, but it is a great opportunity for them to share their story with our consumers, because I think a lot of our guests, that's what they want to hear. They want to hear from, so it's an interesting dynamic from a marketing perspective on how we actually communicate to those different segments, because each one also consumes media and television in a different way.